today for our quarantine conversation. I hope y'all are having as much fun as I am. And today, look, do kids even still say lit? Like today is going to be lit, right? Because my guest is my friend Terrell Knighton, also known as TK. And y'all, TK stays on fire. So I'm so excited to have TK here with me today. And we are going to talk about a subject that's near and dear to my heart. And I couldn't think of a better person to dive into this conversation about mastering your mindset. So welcome, TK.
Hey, welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Are you able to share it?
Yeah, I'm about to do that. Give me 1 second. Let me see here.
Okay.
Got to go back to Rosemary. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, there you are. Oh, it's live.
live. Look, so while TK is situated, let me tell y'all about TK. So TK is a friend of my husband's, and we met, what do you think, like 3 or 4 years ago now?
Yeah, but at least 3.
At least 3 years ago. Yeah. And we went out to dinner, like with his wife and Corey. The fun time. You know how sometimes you hang out with people and you like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. But TK asked me a question, and the question was, so what books have you read lately? And at that time, I had not read for pleasure or let alone self-development in a very long time. And TK was so passionate about a book called Mind Power. He said we absolutely had to read. But I knew right then that he was going to be one of those friends that was going to push us to excellence if we were going to be in his friend group. So welcome, homie.
Glad to be here. Really glad to be here.
How's quarantine going?
You know, quarantine is going very well, but it's a journey, and I'm gonna share that with you a little bit today. But it's going well. I mean, it's going well. It's going well.
Okay.
It's all perspective.
Yes, love it. All perspective, and you're over there. You're an entrepreneur. You married. Y'all celebrating 20 years coming up, and 4 kids at home.
Boom.
Yeah, and right now you're doing it all because your wife is out assisting her mom who has some challenges with the virus.
Yeah. So we lost our father-in-law. My wife lost her dad to COVID-19 at the very beginning of March, and then her mother got COVID-19, and she's 87, but her mom pulled through. She's in hospital for 2 weeks, but she pulled through, so that's a blessing of God. But yeah, so she's in Chicago taking care of family, and we're here. But we doing good though. You know, God is able to do it.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm happy to hear that, and our prayers are definitely with your family. Well, let's jump right into it. Mindset. When someone says that word to you, what does that mean?
Well, just what it says. It's mindset. It's all about mindset. So I just want to get started by talking about when this whole thing hit. You know. I didn't really know what was going on like anybody else knew what was going on. And I made a big mistake when this first happened. I spent all day watching the news. I sat on my couch for 2.5 weeks with my hair uncombed in my pajamas, watching CNN and everything else and MSNBC and everything, you know, and CBS. I'm watching all news. And I know my wife was like worried. Like, I think she wanted to say something, but I don't think she knew what to say. I'm sitting here going, the sky is falling. I'm sitting here and I'm just getting all this news, and I'm just eating it up, you know, and I'm just getting more and more and more into the bad stuff.
Right.
But in the business I'm in financial services distribution, and a lot of my colleagues, they just were exploding, you know what I mean, income wise. You know, we call it jumping diamonds. I had a friend go over 200,000 in 12-month income. Another friend 250, another friend went over 300, had another friend go over 400, another friend went over 600. Now this is in 12 months. Had another friend over $800,000 in income. And I said, well, I tell you one thing. Apparently I'm the only one tripping. Right? So I had to make a decision. The decision is, am I going to be Blockbuster or I'm going to be Netflix? I had to figure it out. So I got up in the morning, got fully dressed, brushed my teeth, shaved, put the berries and juices in my hair, right? had fully dressed, everything except socks. I came into this office I'm sitting in right now, and I started watching training videos on Zoom, which is the video conferencing. I started watching Zoom videos. And the next day I closed 3 transactions, recruited 3 people. And I've been on Zoom for maybe like 40 days, had the biggest income month in the history of my career. We broke records in volume and production at every level. And I made the most money I ever made in my life right here at home. So it's about mindset. And I had to decide, are you either going to get going or you're going to be left behind? And so again, you just got to make a decision. You got to pivot. You got to figure out how to reinvent yourself. I've been in the business for 28 years that I believe that I've always done. This is when you get in trouble. We always did it this way. Yeah. Okay. But you got to change. I know I used to do it, but times have changed. You got to do something different. I never thought I could do a business with clients talk about investments and insurance over a video conferencing. These people give me a social security number, their bank accounts, everything. As same as if I'm sitting in front of them.
Yeah.
But I had to change my thinking.
Yeah, I love what you said about making a choice, because that's what it starts with. And I'll say for me too, the first few weeks of quarantine, I almost felt paralyzed, right?
I'm with you.
You know, it was just almost like I could get up, but I just don't have the will. And, you know, you slap on a happy face and you do some of the things, but internally didn't know what the world would look like. And then even more so in your case, like I know that you are a loving, devoted husband. And during this time, your wife was getting the news that her father was ill, her mother was ill. So there was even more uncertainty on your end than others, but you made a choice. So
absolutely. I mean, I had to make a choice. And I also want to say this, it's the power of a peer group.
Okay.
Power of peer group.
Talk about that.
So I have a peer group inside of my field, which is financial services distribution. And then I have a peer group of friends outside, which would be like Rosemary's husband, Corey Lewis, who's my friend.
Corey's like, make sure you let him know.
Corey's my friend, okay? Anyway, but you know, the people around me, it's all about who you're hanging around.
Yeah.
Around a bunch of people watching news, you think the sky is falling, right? And if you're around people that are getting after it, I mean, I see 2 sets of people. I see the people that even though things are very uncertain in the world, they're just going forward with their business. They're not letting up. My pastor at my church going forward. Phenomenal. Pastor Conway Edwards, One Community Church, shameless plug. Pastor Conway is leading. I think he's leading right better now in the pandemic than he would if it wasn't a pandemic, because he realized now how focused he got to be, how much direction he got to give people, because people are looking for leadership. But it's the power of the peer group. So who are you hanging around? Now, I know we all grown. I'm 49. I know I don't look it. I know. I'm used to it. But the point is, you don't want your kids hanging around certain kids, but you become an adult and you spend time with people who bring no value to your life.
Who drain you?
Johnny Collins, Alvin Johnson, Corey Lewis, Mark Allen. We all say friendship with purpose. Now, regular people don't understand that, but the people that I spend time with, we feed into one another's lives and we benefit each other from a symbiotic standpoint, that we're either encouraging one another, we're doing business with each other, we're referring business to each other, that type of thing. You can't spend major time with minor people. You got to spend time around people that have something to contribute to your life.
I'm watching this and taking notes. You cannot spend major time with minor people.
And you can't spend time around people that are not contributing something to your life. And the way you find out who's contributing something to your life is just decide to do something different. Decide to go back to school. Decide to go get your real estate license. Decide to go get your insurance license. Decide to start a business. And the people go, what you doing for? Those people are not pouring into your life. They should say, wow, can I help you? I should do it with you. Or how can I help you? Well, I'll be your first client. Those are the people pouring into your life. But it's peer group. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about peer group. And you got to make sure that you surround yourself with people that are going to pour into your life in one way or another, that you can be a benefit to them and they can be a benefit to you.
And it goes both ways, right? So and that was one of the things I will say in our very first meeting, when Corey and I sat down with you for dinner, you and your wife, just that one question, what book was I reading? That was a light bulb moment in my life where I was like, why is it, maybe at the time I was 35, 36, I can't remember the last time a friend asked me what book I was reading, and then that conversation pivoted to personal development and obviously we want to be successful, but also challenging going to the next level in all areas of life, right? Not just finances or business, but that is a huge part. I don't want to undermine that, but in relationships, in ministry, in whatever it is that thing is, what are you going to do? Are the people around you forcing you to elevate?
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that my husband has somebody like y'all. That was a prayer of mine for a long time, that God would bless him with a certain type of community. And it has happened, and it's been a blessing for all of us.
So I co-authored a book, and the title of my chapter of the book, I have an original quote. It's my own stuff. It's absolutely original. And it says, when you get better, it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. See, I think I have a healthy marriage because I've been working on first of all, I got Jesus. Let's keep it 100. Okay.
Right.
I'm not ashamed of the gospel. Okay. So I got Jesus. That's number one. Okay. That's a high number one. And a distant second is I work on myself, self-development. My wife works on herself. So what happens is in most time when you get to be adults, people don't do any self-development. The best is self-development some people get is to go to church. But most people are not reading how they can improve as an individual. So one of the questions I always ask is, how much money are you going to invest in getting better this year?
Mm-hmm.
$1,500, $300? You're going to buy 2 books a month? You're going to listen to 1 audio book a month? What are you going to do to improve? What are you going to do to grow your consciousness?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do to grow as a man? What are you going to do to grow as a woman? What are you going to do to grow as a husband? What are you going to do to grow as a wife? What are you going to do to grow as a father? What are you doing to grow so you can be more valuable? So I grew up in a house, I grew up, man, and people be yelling, ah, rah, rah, rah. I don't talk to my kids like that, because I realized that all my kids respond differently. So I said, hey, man, come on, buddy. Hey, do your homework, man. Come on, you smart. You can do it. Come on, man. Please, high five. Okay, come on, buddy. Not like, boy, you better do your work. I'm gonna whoop you.
It doesn't work.
You don't talk to people like that. You don't talk to grown people like that either. But when you try that, it ain't gonna work too good.
Right.
Different response you get from a kid. But just working on getting better, self-developing. So that brings me to a next thing. Y'all in trouble today with me, man. You done open up a can of worms. Boy, I tell you what.
Before you go to that, I want to say this though, and this is something that I think will take heed. I think because, and I know for myself, because a lot of this work, being in the Word of God, but also, and I'm not minimizing the Word of God, because definitely being in the Word of God, having healthy community around me, and in that having friends that push me towards self-development, reading Mind Power, things like that. Even when I found myself in a slump with quarantine, my natural, my body was like, no, this is not who we are. So eventually what you have been pouring into yourself is what's going to reap. So there has to be some sort of deposit in you and the type of person you want to be before it hits the fan.
I have a friend of mine. I'm with you. That's so true. So I have a friend of mine. His name is Dante Owens, and I run a mentor group once a month where I mentor about 40 or so business leaders in our company. And he said, TK, you did what you always tell us to do. Like you did it. Like you changed your thinking. A new life is but a new mind, right?
Yeah.
Change your thoughts, change your life. And so, you gotta be willing to change. So I'm doing all my business over video conferencing, and I had never done it before. We're using Zoom. I'd never done it before. But sitting back saying, well, I'm not good with computers. See, that ain't paying no money.
Exactly. Or I don't like
paying no money.
A lot of realtors tell me that, I love your videos, but I don't like to see myself on video. Sis, I don't like to see myself on video either. But
myself on video, but anyway.
sometimes we critique ourselves and we pick ourselves apart, and we stop ourselves from getting started because it's something different than what we're used to doing, or we're uncomfortable doing it.
Yeah, I said, you know, I'm a results-oriented person, and I'm about getting results. And so for me to move my business forward during this trying time, me sitting back talking about I don't know how to do it. See, that's inconsistent with what I'm about.
Exactly.
I can't do that. That's inconsistent with what I'm about. That doesn't work for me, right? And so again, you've got to be willing to change. So the thing is, you know, there's some real benefits that have come out of this, you know, this pandemic. Y'all, I am spending so much quality time. My kids, my wife is away in Chicago. Man, I am sitting at the computer helping my son with his schoolwork. And I'm having a ball doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That work for me, buddy. Come on, sound it out. Sound it out. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I'd be being Ricochet Rabbit all around the Metroplex.
Right.
I'm cooking for my kids. My kids are cooking with me. Oh, we throwing down buttermilk fried chicken, french fried rice. I mean, we getting it in, right? We doing it big, okay? We're getting down over here. But I'm spending time with the family. But again, because I was able to pivot and work from home, everything's being covered.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it. How when this is all over with, because one day it's going to be over with. We don't know when that day is. But one day it's going to be over with. And are you going to be able to say that I came out of it better than I went into it?
Yeah.
That's a choice. You got to make a pivot. You got a choice to make. You got to say, now I got time to read some books. Now I got time to start working on my book.
Right.
There's so many things that in the you know, what's the word I'm looking for? In the hectic, the rat race of life.
Yeah.
There's a word for it. I'm gonna find the busyness of life. We've been busy to do things. Man, I'm watching movies with the kids. We making popcorn on the stove. I mean, it's just they help me cook. They help me measure. I mean, I'm spending quality time. But I'm gonna come out of this pandemic with better relationships with my kids.
Yeah, and you're still being better. Like you're not doing that at the expense of your business, right?
Oh, yes, that's right.
You know, sometimes in entrepreneur life and just work life in general, not just for entrepreneurs, it feels like I can't slow down because if I slow down, I won't be able to provide. But what God is showing me in this is like it hasn't been pleasant. It hasn't, you know, I shouldn't say all parts of it haven't been pleasant, and it isn't exactly what I wanted, but it's what I needed. And what He's shown is I'm still provision, right? And not only am I provision, I can out provide for you what you could have done for yourself in your own means and in your own right. So I love that.
Yeah.
So I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
We have a couple comments. You can't see it. But the one question is, someone said that's what they need. They need that type of community, that peer group. Mm-hmm. What would you say to that person that says, I don't have a TK in my life? You know, how can I create that community? Because if I'm being honest, my peer group is not the most positive. They're not pushing me. It is doomsday. And not just the pandemic, but just in life. That's the way they view it. What do you say to that person? TK.
Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Hold on. I'm in my office. Don't nobody move. Hold on.
TK said, don't move, y'all.
Don't move. I'm gonna get you a peer group. Oh, boy, we don't have no peer group. John Maxwell. Oh, he would love to be your friend. Oh man. Napoleon Hill with Think and Grow Rich. He would love to become a part of your peer group. Oh, he would love it, right? So what happens is the mind is a sending and receiving station for the vibrations of thought. See, you sending out a frequency. See, if you ain't doing nothing, then you got the ain't doing nothing frequency. So you're not going to attract no people in your world that's doing something.
Okay. Say it for the people in the back. I don't think that hurt.
If you start working on your thinking, your thought vibration is going to change. It's going to change. And then you're going to start attracting people. They say something going to come out of your mouth that you read that changed your thinking. And then somebody going to pick up on it and go, yeah, man, I like that. And you're going to start a conversation. But it all begins with thought. You got to change the way you think. So these are your friends until you attract them, because that's what the law of attraction is. Thoughts that are emotionalized become magnetized and track similar and like thoughts. And birds of a feather flock together. So if you're working on you, you're going to just naturally attract people that are working on themselves. See, I'm in my office at the house. I have 2 big bookshelves here. If I open those doors back there, they're full of books. And I got a bookshelf in my bedroom, like it's about this tall. And then on my nightstand is loaded with books, right? But again, you have to evolve as a person. So this is going to be your peer group. And in the process of working on your thinking, you're going to attract like-minded people. You're going to attract them.
I agree with that. And I think that you end up like as your thinking changes and evolves, and you and I have had conversations before about like, I didn't realize for a long time that I thought I was a positive person, and I really was. I've been a positive person for a long time, but I still came from a lack mindset in a lot of areas of my life. So starting to thinking about abundance and abundant marriage, abundant parenting, abundant relationships. You think about them, and you are presented with opportunities, but then you have to act on those opportunities, right? One thing that if you're my Facebook friend on here, I have people that I have met at the nail shop. I have walked up to them at church. I have walked up to them, sent you a private video, because you have to be willing to take that risk to expand your territory.
Yes.
And I also think that is a lot, a lot of times people can be afraid or intimidated by that. And that's what I love about y'all's friend group, is that everyone is successful. Everyone is in a different, a different realm of success and different earners and all that. But everyone pushes each other. I don't feel jealousy. I don't know if y'all feel it,
Not at all. No, not at all.
Where a lot of people,
respect.
It's a lot of respect. A lot of people can't even appreciate the connections that they have for envy and all that stuff. So you got to let go of all of that. And then when you're thinking abundance, then you don't care what they're doing. Not that you don't care, but you can freely support what they're doing and not be tied down.
One of my buddies, he told me how much money he made one month. He said, man, I can't tell a lot of people because they wouldn't understand. And we do celebrate one another. There is a mutual respect, because what I see you and your husband doing, being very successful in real estate, I'm in financial services, so I can be very successful in financial services. I mean, everybody's got to be good at what you got to bloom where you plant, right? You got to bloom where you plant. I've been in financial services for 28 years, right? I mean, I got 10 offices and 540 agents. I mean, I've been successful, and I'm going to continue to press the gas on what I'm good at. You with me? I mean, my other buddy owns a title company. My other buddy owns apartment complexes. I mean, you guys do real estate, but it's a mutual respect. That's back to that peer group. You want to be around people that are going to celebrate you. I told you, and I told your husband how much money I made last month. I'm not going to say it on Be Live, but I told you how much money I made, because we are friends, and you guys help celebrate my success. It wasn't like, well, we making money too. It's not even like that.
Right.
Right.
You did facing the toughest month, doing something totally different. Your wife was burying her father, and you were able to persevere. So if anything, it was motivation and celebration for what you have going on.
Absolutely. So super excited, just super excited about being able to power through and just being able to make the change. And I think because I, like you said, that deposit of working on yourself, that self-development, that deposit that you made in yourself, right? I believe that I have that same foundation. And so it allowed me to change quickly, not to take forever to change. It probably took me 2.5 weeks to just be in a funk, okay. All right.
Positive people, we need to give ourselves, sometimes you have that time. I remember there was a lady on Oprah once, and her husband did something crazy to her, like burned her face off or whatever. And she was like, you know what? I give myself 5 minutes a day to cry. But after that 5 minutes, I'm still here. Life goes on. I have to, so sometimes we do have to give ourselves times to feel what's happening because there are some real realities. But what are you going to do with those feelings? What are you going to do with those realities? And the biggest thing, y'all, and if you're out here looking, the biggest thing that I could tell you is that it's a choice.
It's a choice.
I don't care what you're going through in your life right now. It is a choice. You have a choice to say, you know what? I'm going to do X or I'm going to be X. Now, it might not happen overnight, but that once you make that decision up in your mind and that thinking switches, you can do it.
It's a choice. And I'm telling you, you preaching the self-development gospel. It's a choice. Everything is a choice. You gotta make a choice. And that's what I did. And even with my wife being gone, I'm hugging a pillow at night. But I love my wife, and I'm making a choice to give her what she needs to go take care of her family and go get her mother squared away. So people say, well, do you miss your wife? If I say I miss her, I almost feel like I'm being selfish. That means I want her here more than taking care of what she needs to take care of. So do I miss her? A little, but I know what she's doing, and she's got to do it. Her brother came and gave a month, and they kind of like tag team, and she came to get a month, that he's going to come back. And so, even though I want my wife home, I know what she's doing. So I'm making a choice to love her enough to let her love her mother like she needs to. That's just a choice.
That's beautiful. So what would you say, last question, to the person who really, because first of all, I think most times we don't recognize our own negativity. Okay. I think that's a huge thing. And you're starting to recognize it. You're in a slump. We can't get out of this slump. What we're talking about sounds real good, but you don't know me, my life, my story, my bills, my furlough, my whatever. What would you say, what tools can we share with the people who really want to make a change, but just, it seems like that, they're that sad person that got that cloud just following them. And this quarantine has heightened those feelings already.
That's a good question. I guess they would probably have to try to reach out to the most positive, encouraging person that they know, and just reach out. I think fellowship is super duper important. You can't live your life in a vacuum. And because of fellowship is the reason why. That kind of what helped me pull out, just because I heard and I saw what my peers were doing. Well, you kind of got me stumped on that one. That's a good one. I think that we need to go spiritual on that one. I think you need to ask them to help pull you out.
Yeah.
Because we can't get out on our own strength. I just think we got to ask God to help us. You know what I'm saying? We got to ask God to help us and to lead us and to guide us. And I think you got to start there. And I think you got to start flooding your mind with a different message.
Mm-hmm.
So much good stuff on YouTube, man. It's scary to think about how successful I'd be in life if I'd had YouTube when it started out.
What are some of your favorites on YouTube? Who are you watching?
I mean, TED Talks. I mean, you can.
Let me tell you something funny. Let me tell you something. And you were one of the people that led me to this. You and Scotty Smith. Art Williams.
Oh yeah, Art Williams.
Okay. Y'all, if y'all are out here listening, Art Williams has a speech called "Just Do It," or is it "Just Do It"?
The Do It speech. The Do It speech.
And we were at a mastermind, and they played it, and it was just one of those things that resonated with me. I promise you, when I first got into real estate, the team that I was on, they cold call, and I hated it. I just did not like it. I felt inadequate at it. And then those negative thoughts, inadequate in the field. My husband will tell you, I would listen to the Art Williams Just Do It speech on the TV, on low, the whole time I was cold calling. The whole time. And then when Art gets to the end, he's like, you feel like you can't do this, just do it. You feel like you can't do that, just do it. And just continually to feed myself with it. Now, I didn't believe it. At that time, I did not believe that I would really be successful at this because it just felt so hard. But feeding myself that positive energy, Art, like my uncle, he don't even know it.
Yeah, well, Art is the one that actually founded the company that I'm a part of, so I'm very acquainted with him. I'm with Primerica, and I've been very acquainted with Art, and I think that when he dies, he's gonna fill the Mercedes-Benz dome because he has changed millions of lives with his message. And so, yeah, it's awesome. But I think that again, Rosemary called me, asked me that I want to do this, and it's just great to have great friends and for us to be able to share. And she does a good job staying connected. I just, one of the things my church talks about is that we want to be the church where nobody walks alone, and that community and fellowship is important. And so I think the answer is coming to me to your last question. The answer is, if you're in a fog and it's all negative, is don't walk alone.
Amen.
Get in a community. Get around some people that can support you, that are going to build you up. Get in the community. Get around some people. I mean, if you can start a church, that's a very great place to start for a lot of people. That's a great place for me. But, you got to get around some people that can encourage you. You got to get in the community. And so you got to be the aggressor in the formation of relationships. The whole world is saying, well, make me happy.
Right.
No one likes me. The Bible says if you want a friend, show yourself friendly. So go be a friend to somebody. Go bless somebody. And in turn, you'll be blessed.
Yes, I love that. I can't think of a better way to end the conversation, because that was absolutely amazing. I appreciate everything that you shared with us today. And then TK, you also do what NLP? Tell me.
Programming. I'm an instructor with NLP.
Yeah. Yes. And anytime, if TK is teaching a class, I'll make sure that y'all know about it. If you're in my friend group, because he really does help break down some things. And I hope that y'all take to heart a lot of what was said here today. You got any parting words for our friends and family tuning in on Facebook?
I want to shout out to Will Bean, because I haven't heard from Will in many years. So great to see him out there at Troy Kelly, entitled Tina. Hey, Tina. Hey, and I got to shout out to my homeboy, Corey Lewis.
Let me say, Corey, this is probably the longest time Corey's watched.
Corey Lewis. So shout out to Keisha Moore. Okay. Yeah. Listen, I just want everybody to be encouraged, but just know that you want to come out of this pandemic better than you went into it. And just like Rosemary said, it is your choice. And I want to encourage you to make the right choice. God bless you all.
Yes. And when you get better,
it gets better.
It gets better. Thank you, TK.
Okay, thank you.